Hi guys, welcome to the Tech Talk Africa podcast. I'm your host Jessy Lesley, and this is the only podcast where we know to insert USBs correctly.
I am your co-host Ogwedhi Victor,
Uh-huh.
and I'm glad to be here.
Are you sure you're glad?
I'm very glad. How are you?
Eh, I've had quite a terrain of a week, but then we'll talk about it. So on this episode, we are going to talk about social media precisely, and then also the government messing us up. But then, we'll see about it. Anyway, tell me about your week.
My week has been good.
Mm-hmm.
School life. Not much going on,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm okay overall. It's been a minute since we were on here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy to be here again.
Anyway, for the last people who had us, we were on a Twitter space with Semabox, and it was pretty interesting. Victor, what was up with you with that space?
Hey, technical difficulties. Technical hitches.
You never had a phone,
No, I will not go at it with you on this conversation. Dachana nayo for today.
You're suffering. You don't have a phone. You can't connect to the spaces.
You're switching the topic from tech to banter.
But then that's anyway. I'm not going to banter this guy, so we are going to dive in.
Wait, you haven't told us how your week was.
Oh, my week.
Like in depth a little bit. You just said it was terrain.
It was hectic. First of all, one of our episodes we had a few months ago,
Yeah.
one of
I
the
remember
PR
that.
people from the companies came to us. They said we were talking bad about the. Anyway, we weren't talking bad about them. It's precisely what was said in the blogs, in the media blogs. I don't know why they're not attacking the blogs, but they're attacking us. But anyway, for growth and for Viva Tech Podcast Africa.
Anyway, let's go on.
Yeah. Apart from that, my week has been good in the interactions with Semabooks, the interactions with ALX,
Yeah.
and a couple of other things that you'll know about sometime later. So I said earlier we are talking about the government and social media, but then it's not social media. I think we were talking about AI. AI
technology.
has been messing us up. But then we are going to decrypt a few things about AI, and then we talk about the government. So Victor, what was your first interaction with AI? And when did you know like this is AI?
Okay. So first of all, OpenAI launched ChatGPT. Anybody, including your mother, children, labda even your grandfather, by now should be knowing about ChatGPT.
Okay.
Personally, I'm a student, and since I'm a student, AI makes my life easier, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So, okay, Sifanyangi, I don't do this every time, but whenever I have my assignments, it's easier to ask ChatGPT for the answers. I pose my question there. So my first interaction was when I was actually looking for answers to my assignments or when I was studying.
So when
Because it's easier, it just brings everything together instead of me actually going and researching about from Google or somewhere else from other sources or getting books and stuff like that.
So you actually knew about AI recently?
Okay, that's like the, I don't know
The
what to
first
call it.
interaction, possibly. A real interaction.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, let's go with that, yeah. But if you think about it, it's been here for a long while. It's just that it's been like put out there. But for now, for the common person to know that this and this is AI. But we have used AI before. Even in like the Adobe Suite has some AI features. Something like when you're masking, it checks it selects the subject and makes like your life easier. So yeah, that was like an interaction, I think, like a few years ago. So it's been there. It's only that now it's hitting. It's like trending. So now everybody is now getting to know that there's something called AI, and but now what they don't know is AI has been there and has been used.
For the longest time.
Yeah, it's just that it wasn't been branded there. It wasn't labeled as AI there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your first interaction precisely was with ChatGPT, but then those other years you never knew about AI.
I'm not saying that it was. I never. Okay, you can overlook it as a person. You can overlook it because if AI is basically okay to define it, AI uses machine learning and solves problems the same way a human being would solve problems.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So unless you think of it that way, you can never really like understand that something like the way I've given you an example of masking in Photoshop or rotoscoping in like what's it called After Effects.
After Effects, yeah.
Yeah. So something like that.
Uh-huh.
You can never if you don't think about it too deeply, you can never realize that this is actually AI doing this. But also we have AI tracking and stuff like that.
Okay, my first interaction was with the clipboard. I don't know, it's called the clipboard or what, or something. The paper clip that used to appear on Microsoft or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Like
first
long ago. Yeah.
interaction. It was an amazing feature to me because I knew it when this Valley series came up about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I knew about AI. But then that was in character. You see,
Yeah.
that wasn't in real life. But then now in real life, it has changed a couple of things, but then it has also made me lazy. That is one of the things that has made me so lazy. But then anyway, AI,
Of
it's
course, of course, it harbors laziness. As in, if the example I gave you about the schoolwork, if I can go to ChatGPT or Cactus AI, and instead of searching for a way to write my code on my own, I just go to Cactus AI, write a code for a JavaScript program doing this and this and this, and the whole code appears. I only just insert a few variables in there. Instead of me actually going and learning, I'm just finding something similar to it and coming up with my own code. So essentially, in a few minutes, what I can do what I was supposed to do in hours in just a few minutes, like 10 minutes. Now I'm done. I'm done.
Ultramax laziness.
Yeah, that is
Uh-huh.
it's laziness and also I think lack of creativity. It kills the creativeness in you.
Yeah.
Because now since you're given everything, if like just if you are born into like a rich family and you're given everything, you wouldn't do a lot of the things that you've done by now. Yeah, because you'd just be comfortable. You'd like the way we're sitting on the couch right now, we are comfortable. You just be like that all your life because you know this thing is going to be handed to me when my pops or somebody else like passes on any. You get.
Yeah, like technically, I have to admit, the last two episodes where Duncan was here and then Kefa was here, it's a podcast scripted by AI. ChatGPT did the whole thing. I just copied it, gave the questions to and they did the work. They answered AI pretty well. They didn't even answer me. But then AI scripted the whole podcast. That is the whole thing about it. Anyway, as I have said, AI is the ability of a PC or a computer precisely to handle the sentient part of a human being. Like not that much, the feelings, the whole this, not that much, but then that is the whole thing about AI. So what are the myths that you've heard about AI?
Had them like see overall we've been growing over as in all over the years as we've been growing up. See all these movies have come out about how technology is going to come and like like Terminator. It was like what, Terminator 2 or something like that. So unapata like so you see in the movies that the machine has come to life and is now like trying to now attack or extinct the human race. Get so it's like a myth. That is like the myth, the biggest like myth per se.
Is it a myth now, basing of Boston Dynamics? these people are doing things that are out of this world. They have now
You
robotic
know,
dogs. They have an army of robots. They are seeing things that we don't see.
fun thing
Uh-huh.
is, the other day I saw uh, the head of AI in the one who pioneered it
In
in
Google.
Google.
Yeah.
He left the company saying that he thinks that this thing is going to be like detrimental later on, as in
Yeah.
maybe it will turn on us.
Mhm.
And he was like, you know what, you guys, you do what you wanna do. Me, I don't wanna be a part of this thing because I am feeling like something is going to happen.
But you see, him being a godfather of AI, he could have just quit like 10 years ago. Why right now?
I don't know. Maybe there's a catch to it because these days
Uh-huh.
nothing is like direct.
Mm-hmm.
There always has to be like something in the backstory or something else.
Uh-huh.
You get,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe also has a genuine concern. I'm not sure. Maybe sometimes if you can take a lot of information, you can go mad or
Crazy.
something.
So you're saying it's crazy.
I'm not saying. I'm saying you can. He
Okay.
could be.
So one of the myths that you said is it will take human life. Like it will replace us. The other thing that has been going on is people are
But
pretty much saying
it
that
is replacing people.
people are saying that yes, technically it has taken people's jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, it has taken people's jobs. And recently we have seen that even our producer might be out of the job. Honestly talking, because there's an AI that cuts the shots on Adobe Premiere.
Yeah, so the
It literally
plugin.
cuts every angle in Adobe Premiere.
Mm.
So, Andrew, peace out, Joe. But then, you see, it reduces the workload anyway, but I don't think it's going to take so much of our life. But then it has replaced a couple of people. It has replaced writers so much. I had students in Kenya who were doing the online writing thing. They were complaining so much that AI has taken the jobs. When it came first, they were so happy. But then when you come to adopt something fully, now it shows you its true colors.
But
Uh-huh.
it's just like any other technology.
Uh-huh.
The same way, in a factory, at the beginning and years back, people are the one who are doing the jobs.
Yeah.
But now in the factory, things are automated.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the same way, I think we're just evolving.
Uh-huh.
So maybe some people will be, maybe not some, but I know a lot of people will be like thrown out of their jobs or something like that. But overall, I think we will adapt eventually because we can't be like where we are right now. We can't be here if we didn't like adapt to change because change, it's dynamic. It will always happen. Even if it wasn't supposed to be like launched, it wasn't supposed to trend this year. Maybe it would have trended like 3 years later, 4 years later. Things will come up, and we just have to accept.
But you see, it's affecting a lot of areas. When we go a few weeks earlier from now, some things were happening in the music industry. Last week, The Verge produced a beat, The Laser Bomb, with Drake's voice. And also some things have been happening. I
This
had
song was terrible. The
yesterday I
lyrics are
had
terrible.
Rihanna sing with Wakadinali.
Yeah,
Now you see these things.
imagine Rihanna with Okadinali.
Now, what is the shape of the music industry with AI in it? What will be the copywriting thing? What will be the change, the basic change factor between AI and music?
I don't know how will they'll handle it because right now, currently, anybody can make music using AI. Even you, even I, maybe even a small child, if they just know what they do, it may not be as perfect as, say, like Drake writing a song or Rihanna doing the song, but they can do it and they can post it. And as you can, and some social media platforms and
So
streaming
who owns the
services.
copyright? Who owns the copyright?
Now, I don't really know who owns it because you can't say, take for example, if Calligraph sang a song, he's the one who sang the song, but if an AI sang used Calligraph's voice and all that stuff to create a song, and and sing it. It's not Calligraph who sang the song. It's like it's the computer that sang the song. You get what I mean?
So it's the computer.
Maybe
OG.
it's the computer's copyright.
But then,
if you think of it again, the same way, it's the voice. They used the person's voice, say Calligraph's voice, to train the model so that they can actually learn how he pronounces certain letters, words, in order to now come up with the actual song. So in some way also, it belongs to the musician, but the musician didn't really take part in creating it.
So who will pay?
I don't know. I don't know. We have to wait and see how it unfolds.
Because we're going to Web3. We're going to open source. A lot of contributors in the system. So a lot of contributors developed the system, launched it in the open source. And different persons, like in the blockchain, per se, in Web3, yes, they perpetrated in teaching AI the musician's voice. So how will they know, like, it's this person and this person needs to be paid? Because people hate a centralized system, but then it's inevitable to escape. But then that is what they hate. So who will pay? It's a big shift, but then it's also not sustainable.
I'm not sure who will pay, but I think the same way the Universal Media Group, UMG, the same way they pull down the songs, they'll have to like keep on doing this. Maybe even, maybe the irony now, maybe even use now an AI to detect AI generated music and pull it down from streaming services like Spotify and YouTube and stuff like that, or like Nini copyright issues. You get?
Talking of Spotify, that is a talk for another day because they are very chaotic in their own ways. But then we'll talk about how the streaming world also is trying to infringe on a couple of things that are working around it. But anyway, has AI been positive or negative in the impact that it has bring right now that it is springing up very fast?
You see, the same way we've already mentioned a few disadvantages, but the same way there are also advantages because now you can run scenarios. Okay, we have been doing that, but you can run scenarios that are risk free. Right? You can do things like in medicine, you can like train a model to do certain things that a human being would have to do.
Can't trust that, doctor.
As in, using AI, you reduce the errors, and you can, same way we are saying unemployment, you can because if someone is doing like the writing jobs, they are limited to certain factors, like they get tired. The AI doesn't get tired. It's there 24/7, whether you want it, unless the system is down.
But then, pause there. You said it reduces errors. There was being, there was bad. You get to ask bad a couple of questions. It doesn't know. It gives you outdated information. You get to ask being, it will give you some information, but then it might also retract some. You see, because it's not sure, not as per ChatGPT 4, as per when they were integrating. Because you get to ask the AI, what are your sources of this information? It gives you broken links. Like, this is where I got the information. But then you go, it's down a rabbit hole. You're going nowhere.
Okay, so I've seen that. I saw MKBHD's video. I haven't used Bard. I've used Bing because I think
Bard is shaky. I still don't trust it.
I don't feel like it gives you the right answers. It's like really shallow. It's like comparing Google Assistant to Siri or Alexa. Or like, let's say like Alexa. You can't use Alexa on your smartphone as well as you can use the Google Assistant on your smartphone. So the same way, Google is trying something, is like struggling in the AI sector, same way Alexa isn't like a good assistant for your phone compared to like Siri or yeah.
The whole narrative of Google has been based on the search and ad. You see, you click, it's an ad and the whole search list. But then when ChatGPT came in about and OpenAI, it reduced the risk of searching. I don't need to go to page 4 to find information. So Google is still, I think, on a revenue model kind of war on whether to limit the information and bring it near for the people, or just releasing it out and say, you know what, this is what you're going to do with bad. Yeah.
Yeah. What you're saying is true because if I go to search on ChatGPT and I get all my answers, it limits my interaction with things like ads. Because if I search for something on Google, the first thing normally is usually like an ad most of the time. Unless now you're using an ad block or something like that. But the first thing, sometimes even the first two things are usually ads.
Adverts, yeah.
Sometimes I may get attracted and click on it. But since now I'm not interacting with the ads, I won't click on it. So they lose the clicks, the number of clicks.
Yeah.
So yes, they can be still sticking to a revenue model, but I don't think it's good for them. Okay, maybe it's good for them the way they see it. Maybe because people will still Google. Google is the biggest search engine.
You Google Bing and then you install it.
Yeah. Because exactly. You Google Bing and then you install Bing. You Google what DuckDuckGo, install DuckDuckGo. You Google other like you don't just go, you don't have Bing and then you Google for Google. You even use Google on Bing. You use Google on Brave. You don't use the dedicated like even this all even if you go on Safari. Safari on iPhone, if you go on Safari and you type and you search, it doesn't have a designated search engine. It goes through Google.
I think we're just in a toxic relationship with Google, to be honest. It's very hard for us to leave the toxic relationship.
Yeah, it's like you love it, but at the same time you hate it. It's like, forgive me for saying this, but it's like iPhones. iPhones are the bare.
How will I forgive you?
iPhones are the bare minimum. You used one like years ago. iPhones are the bare minimum. They give you like, they don't give you all the accessibility that you can have on an Android smartphone. On an Android smartphone, you can do a lot. Lakini on an iPhone, it's just like very few things. So they've perfected a very few things like FaceTime, iMessage, and AirDrop, and maybe made it easier. But they're only giving you just a few things because, as you can see, they are bringing technology that Android has had over the years right now. So the same way, we love Google because it's what we are used to, and we don't want to like switch. Adapting is a problem.
But now, since you're mentioning adopting is a problem, coming to back to Africa, are we clearly beneficiaries of AI
in Africa?
Yeah.
Problem is adoption. My problem is adoption of this technology. Because as we were having a conversation before, people are comfortable if whatever they want can be done the way they are used to it. They don't want to switch. If it's not a need, kama haitajiki, then you don't need to switch. You get what I mean? So people in Africa are just comfortable. It doesn't depend unless you're like into the tech thing and you're like you want the most out of everything. Then the rest are like, I'm fine. Although it may have benefits in Africa. Not it may, it does have benefits, but the adoption, unless people adopt it, then they never actually get used to it.
So we are in the middle, or just
you see, even
like a third.
Even the president was like, we need to shut this ChatGPT thing down because, I mean, me, I'm a student.
You can imagine if the president was operating using ChatGPT in the morning. Like, what should I do as a president today?
I actually have questions. How sure are you that whoever wrote his speech didn't use AI? How sure are you? Hmm? We need to like investigate that. Maybe unapata that they used AI. Yeah?
But politics is tricky. But then I would want to know if I'd wake up as a
Again,
president, like, and I asked ChatGPT, what 10 manifestos can I give my people so that they can believe me as a president? Such questions I want to ask ChatGPT. Very honest. And I think I'll go try about.
maybe, and then you can tell us. Like, me, I don't like that idea because now, imagine if they shut it down in the country. Okay, of course we can use VPNs and all that other stuff. Like, maybe Chinese system, because maybe they might hear me, but. So can you imagine? I'll have to go back to the old normal way of going onto Google. If I search for this, I search for this other thing, and then.
But there are people who have perfected this. But now, going back to the government, this government of ours is politics. And they're doing good things and they're catching us and they're doing also bad things. But then overall, I think this is some good news in the fintech sector.
Do you think the government does bad things?
I don't want to be caught.
And they the standard.
I don't want to be caught. But then, in the fintech sector, today morning, well, not today morning, it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes, yesterday.
CBK.
Yeah, the CBK launched a QR kind of thing, kind of payments to unionize payments for banks, mobile money,
Service
and any
providers,
other
yeah.
services that are in the fintech category. Now, today, they want to tax a couple of things. Wigs, they want to tax NFTs. The question is, are they also going to regulate crypto?
They have some funny things on that list.
Basing they don't want also crypto in the country. Now they want to tax crypto. Are they going to regulate it? It's a whole another level of conversation. But then now let's go back to QR. I'm coming from a place where someone has a phone, but they don't know even how to open a pay bill. They don't know how to access Safaricom. Give them an iPhone. They don't know even to go to the SIM toolkit on an iPhone. Now tell me, how are they going to operate with the
Throwing shots
QR?
at iPhone.
Is it a product? Is it a product for the upper class and the middle class? Will it sustain financial inclusivity in the lower class? That is the question.
As I told you before, Africa, adoption, heavy, adoption of new things. Okay, let's even forget about Africa. Let's just say Kenya. Kenya, because because you can think of something like this. If someone can't even like learn how to use a pay bill a till number,
Yeah.
and they have been there for all these years, you still have to teach them, this is how it's going to play, this is how it does. People still struggle with transactions on banks and stuff like that. Then how will they even know that I can scan this thing? Okay, so Safaricom had something like that where you could like
Yeah, for
scan
paying
and-
the buses. It's way back.
no, they had something like that for withdrawing money. Was it withdrawing money or paying
No,
something?
for M-Pesa, you have to tap to pay.
Anyway, but now you see, I think they killed it off because people didn't adopt it. Now this is like a wide scale thing of like where the whole country is being introduced to this thing. But first of all, information. How many people know? How many people know that the government, the CBK, has introduced QR payments? Unless you go and search for it, because these days most people don't even watch news to begin with. So how will this information get to them? How will someone in Ushago there know that I can pay using my smartphone? That my camera can scan a code, a QR code,
And it gives me an option of the payment details, different payment details.
I think adoption is a problem because this technology has been there for years. It's only now that it's being brought into the country, into Kenya per se. Because India have their own, a few other countries have their own ways.
But you see, coming back is, I said today the government has announced it wants to tax a couple of few things. Yesterday they announced they want to unionize payments. Those are two, yes. People
After-
avoid paying taxes.
There always has to be a backstory.
Yeah, people avoid paying taxes, and the whole point of people wanting the crypto and all this thing was to avoid payments of taxes and
Decentralized system.
some
Yeah.
other payments inside there. Now, do you think when the government knows, it will know the data inside the QR where the payments are going because it has unionized the bank, the payments, telcos, and all this. So, do you think it will know what kind of product has been bought because they're taxing even fake beards and all this? Now, do you think they'll know?
Why do they tax fake beards
It's
and the hair?
it's lucrative. It's lucrative.
So when you say, "Oh, I can get fake beards."
Where you are a dead land. But then,
Yeah.
you see, do you think
do you know I can
that
get-
is a catch?
Do you know I can get?
Andrew knows. Andrew knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, do you think this is a catch? The QR and the taxing. Do you think that is a catch? They want to know where the money flows.
Everything these days has to have something
Mhm.
because if you like log into a site, if you want something from an internet site,
Mhm.
most of the times these days you have to log in. If you log in, that's your data.
Mhm.
Then you get what you want.
Mhm.
You won't know that your data is gone to the site or anything like that.
You are selling yourself.
Yeah. So the same way, if we adopt this,
Mhm.
the data, obviously they'll know, okay, this person did this and this in transaction.
Mhm.
They bought this worth 100,000.
Mhm.
So since we decided we are going to tax hair maybe 10%, I don't remember. I don't know how the
Yeah, the
percentage
numbers
is.
are there. You can check
I don't know.
on the ushuru.co.ke Twitter handle.
Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
let's take a number like 10%. So
Uh-huh.
if I buy myself a beard,
Uh-huh.
and I pay 50,000 Kenyan shillings, and if I was using a till number, it would be hard for them to know that I bought this for 50,000 Kenyan shillings because I've sent the money through the till. The till maybe takes it to the bank, and it isn't written like the product or something like that. You get. But if they know I spent 50,000 shillings on a beard, they tax my beard.
But then for data entry, you have to know you bought what, you bought what was being bought, you know. For inventory purposes, you have to know all these, where it went, how you bought it. It has to be known. So me, I think either way, it's a good initiative, but I think the government also wants to know where the money is going. It's a very, very good initiative to unionize all these things because there is a hassle of me getting my finance from KCB down to M-Pesa, take it to another place. You see the charge from KCB to M-Pesa, then from M-Pesa to another place. Reducing that bridge is very essential.
I feel
For-
like for that, that is beneficial to someone because all these transaction costs, if you check them over a long period of time, you realize, hey, I'm spending a lot of money because of these transaction costs. Okay, it's not like a lot of money, like a lot, but it's a significant amount of money. So if they remove the transaction costs between the transferring money from the bank to now M-Pesa, and then M-Pesa you pay via till. If I can just go into my bank app, I scan the till, the QR code, and the money is just paid.
Actually, what
That
it
is-
does, I think it gives you a list of options where you're supposed to be paying, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Like you scan the QR, you want to pay it to M-Pesa, to bank, to EcoBank, to all this. It gives you now one ledger for you to do all this. I think it's very good. It's very standard. It's very new age currently, but then it's not viable. It's not very viable. We can't adopt it. We don't know even how to work with the pay bills. Go to someone who has a pay bill currently, tell them how do they know their transactions? How do they know their backend system? They don't know, literally. They can't even print a statement. How will they adopt the QR that the government has launched?
One way or another, some people will adopt, some will not adopt. I've told you,
Either
we
I
are we
think
are
we have to be
struggling with that.
forced. We have to be forced, like the money, the previous money that was there was first out, and then they introduced us to a new currency that doesn't have value.
Okay, we're supposed to adopt this new thing. So unless now, this is what you're saying, unless now they remove the pay bills, which I don't see them doing because we have so many users. Like I don't know, like 600,000. I read somewhere like 600,000 users.
Yeah, yeah,
People
yeah.
who use pay bills until numbers.
Yeah.
You can imagine that number. That's a very huge number. So if they start like removing all of them, you can't remove all of them.
At
Some
once.
people will not know how to apply for this QR code. If someone in this day and age cannot cannot still access the internet, not access or like use a computer, and it's not. I'm not talking just about the people in the rural areas or any. Someone as old as I am, someone living in this Nairobi or somewhere
Uh-huh.
can't still operate a machine. You get what I'm saying? Then they may struggle still with getting the QR code for the business.
I think it goes down to the basic
But
education.
mm-mm.
Uh,
information
yeah,
is the
everyone is
problem.
literally entitled to pass this education to the next level, the next person that they are next to, rather than because the first time I saw a building being opened with a key card, I was in shock. But then I got to adopt and know, okay, so this is how it works. There's IoT and all this. So through learning. And this knowledge needs to go through all those phases. It's a
But
new thing and it's basically good for me.
but as the human race,
Uh-huh.
we are becoming lazier and lazier and lazier. As you said with the AI thing.
We are adopting the new age kind of hardworking.
Yeah, because right now, me personally, if I'm given an option, I won't go to work. I'll just stay at home. I'm very sure even someone like 10 years, 15 years ago was given the option to like stay at home, then they would. But we are generally lazy as human beings. So even going searching for that information would like take some sort of miracle. There are some, okay, maybe personally, maybe if I didn't know and then I went and searched for it, it wouldn't take me a long time to learn.
Yeah.
But if someone like my mom or my dad doesn't know how to work it, see, they'll come to me, they'll be like, Victor, how do we do this?
Our parents basically don't know even the security measures of a card. Like you don't need to give out your card number, the CVV. You don't need to give the date. They don't know
Yes,
that. They
that's
just
what I'm
give out
saying.
their card.
And those are the people who actually mostly transact with this,
Uh-huh.
with these things. Like even currently, to this day, you're somewhere, you're being called. I'm like, and they're like, we don't know how to do this thing. Can you come home and check on it? You come there, 1 minute, you're done. You try and tell them. A few days later, we're back at the same spot where we started. So unless people actually decide to put in their energy to learn about this thing and try and use it and see maybe if it works for them, then it won't be like adopted, it wouldn't be viable. But and
Yeah.
also we don't know about the transaction costs. Maybe it might be
I think it will be said, but I think fairly what we need to tell the consumers is they don't need to fear these things that are out. They don't need to fear AI. They don't need to fear what the government is launching in quotes. But then, yes, they fear the government. But
what
yes, they don't need to
you
fear
fear
this.
the government.
Yeah, we need to accept that change is coming and these are new measures being brought forward. It's an ongoing conversation of if the government will regulate a couple of new things here and there, but then it's a good step towards a good conversation going forward. And that is solemnly why we are here to push these kind of agendas that don't affect
At a
us
normal
as the consumers. I think that is it.
information. Information is something key,
Yeah.
and lack of information is a problem.
Yeah.
It can be a
Technically.
demise.
Anyway, to our users, this has been an amazing episode. Is it our 4th episode currently? Yeah. Here at no, it's our 6th episode here, or the 7th here at Saberbox. We are looking to more or having these, and then also watch out for Semabox is going to bring up amazing features for the creators, for the businesses, and a couple of things that still are under the hook, but watch out. Amazing things are going to come to support the creator economy.
You
I've been
should.
your host, Jessy.
I've been Victor, your co-host. Check us out on all socials and Semabox on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that. And TikTok Africa on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or all of that. Jessy
And
Lesley.
good news, we are also on Apple iTunes.
Yeah, we. Anyway, bye,
Yeah.
guys.